Hi everyone, Neil O'Donnell here again, thanks to the sponsorship of Hub.Careers. And for today I just wanted to touch on a topic that is very difficult to contend with, and unfortunately I find that quite a few people in their career lifetimes have to endure this, and that's what to do when you lose your job, whether you've been fired or laid off. What are the steps that you need to take to get back into the game, get back into your career, and move forward? I unfortunately know what it's like to be laid off. I was laid off from a job I absolutely loved, and the grants funding my position ran out, and they just happened to run out the week before my wedding. The steps that I'm going to go over right now are the steps I took to go from being laid off to being employed into my dream job within 2 months. Okay? And that, I was very fortunate, but I had done things ahead of time that had set me up well in training and experience to go forward. And it was also during a tough economy. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're laid off, these are some steps that you can take to best get back into your career and into a job so that you can pay your bills, that you can put a roof over your head, pay for meals, and put aside money for retirement and for savings. First things first, 24 hours, 48 hours, take time to grieve, okay? I understand the need to. Believe me, I do. I was crushed, okay? Here I was about to get married and I had no job, okay? But don't grieve alone. Reach out to your network, not just your family and your friends. Let them know, okay? But also contact professionals within your network to let them know what has gone on, because they can console you. Oftentimes you'll find out that they were in similar situations. I learned of a lot of people when I got laid off, who got laid off similarly, either right before they got married or right after they got married. So I mean, it makes you feel better quickly. The other thing you should do is talk to your primary care physician. The reason why I say that is because this can be a very difficult time, and it may be a good idea, as I did, to meet with a counselor to manage the stress and depression that often comes with losing a job. Okay, there's no shame in asking for help. And by asking for help, you can help people, have people console you, and get you through the tough times. But people will also be looking out for you and looking for jobs that you can apply to. And the job I ultimately got I had been applying to similar jobs, and out of the blue, after having been through a couple interviews, my sister calls me up and says, "Hey, I just noticed there's a job opening here." And she let me in on the information, and sure enough, I ended up getting that job. And so, I mean, your network, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues, they can help you find jobs in addition to give you confidence going forward. Quickly set up a schedule. This is the second thing. Set up a schedule for a daily routine that revolves around your career search. Okay? Now, I set it up so that every day I was looking over the internet, looking for job opportunities, but also on Sundays and Tuesdays I would sit down, I would get the newspaper, the Buffalo News, and those are the two big days, Sunday and Tuesday, that the Buffalo News would release new job ads. And what you want to do is have a schedule of looking for work, sorting through the job ads, and finding what is appropriate for your career interests and skill sets, and then applying for those jobs and sending out applications. Okay? Along with this is a third thing, is that's to set a goal of applying to a minimum of between 5 to 10 jobs per week. Okay? That may seem like a lot, but you need to get out there. You need to be reaching for jobs and looking for jobs. And you just can't do one a week and just hope for the best. I mean, especially during tough economies, you want to make certain that you're regularly applying. Now, if you get a couple interviews at the same time, well then you're going to have to make a decision between which one is more important for you to go for. But from my experience, it's people who are applying for more jobs are going to have get back into the career that they've chosen quicker. Okay? You can also take one job and work at it for a while another company is considering your application. Okay? And that is something that, at least have a job. Okay? Because ultimately, unemployment insurance is going to run out and you're going to need to pay the bills. While you're doing all this, the next thing is keep a record. For unemployment, they're going to want to know that you're making an effort to look for work. And if you keep a record of where you applied, when you sent your application, what materials you sent, and the decisions that were sent, okay? Whether they gave you an interview or not, keep a record to show the unemployment office because they're going to ask for that in a lot of situations, okay? So just be prepared. The bonus of it is having that record, and I still have mine, as weird as that sounds. That record is refreshing because it shows you that you're making efforts. And so when you have those tough days when you're depressed because you don't have a job anymore, you can at least look at that list of jobs you've applied to. And it may be frustrating to say, oh God, I've applied to 20 jobs and I haven't gotten one yet. Yeah, but you're making efforts. And if you get an interview, make certain that you write that down on that chart. Because 100 or more people are going to apply for every job you apply to, in a lot of cases. And if you get an interview, that means out of 100 people, you're one of the top 3 to top 5 people in most cases. Okay? That's who gets the interviews. Only the top 3 to 5 choices in most instances. So if you get an interview, you're making great progress. Keep a record of it, because you can look back at that with pride, and that will carry you through. While all this is going on, I'm a big fan of clients keeping busy. And here's where I would say, first, look to volunteer. Look to volunteer at a not-for-profit that works in an area that's close to your heart. My wife and I both like wildlife centers, and so if I were to find myself needing to an outlet for volunteering, a wildlife preserve or some sort of state or federal site that has hiking trails, that would be a great place for me to volunteer. Wherever you're comfortable, a food pantry, a museum, maybe in a school, wherever, volunteer, because keeping your mind busy outside of those times that you're not applying for jobs can help you remain positive because you're being productive. Okay? Another great thing about volunteering is you could always expand your network and through that means end up finding work. Okay? Now, next thing in being distracted, keeping yourself active, exercise. Whether it's walking in a park, running, jogging in a neighborhood, whatever. Find something that is low cost or doesn't cost you anything, because you're going to be wanting to cut expenses. Okay? But exercise. Keep yourself healthy. Okay? The last thing, cut expenses, which is an extension of that whole exercise regime. Okay? When you're laid off or fired, you've got to look at what you're spending money on and figure out what you don't need to spend money on. Okay? It's best to cut costs so that you can endure the layoff much better. Okay? And if that means cutting cable, cut cable. If you had been going out to eat 2 times a week, cut that out of your expenses. Just eat at home. You can save a lot of money. Cut expenses. Now, this doesn't mean never go to the movies or never go hang out with friends. No, I'm not saying that. But you need to be realistic, and you need to look at your money, and you need to protect it as much as you can, because in the long term, it may take some time for you to get through. Okay? Now, Hub.Careers. Again, thanks to them for their sponsorship. but I want you to take a look at their website because they're going to have a lot of resources that are available to you to help you through this tough time, okay? And just reach out because there's a lot of us out there giving advice, and a site like Hub.Careers is a great place to look for guidance to get you back on your feet and back into your career as quickly as possible. You can do this, okay? Again, this is Neil O'Donnell, sponsored by Hub.Careers, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.